Hello and welcome to today's English Masterclass with Gallery Teachers. My name is Alex and I'm one of the teachers with Gallery Teachers. So thank you so much for attending today. So our topic is some really practical, functional English, and that is how to say no without being rude. Okay, so how to refuse, whether it's a request, an invitation, or an offer, without causing offense, how to do this politely. So I hope that will be some really useful language for us to look at today. Imagine this exchange, right? Here we have a social invitation. Do you want to come with us to the cinema tomorrow evening? Now, imagine if the other person responded, no thanks. And that's it. Would this be a good example of refusing politely? You're welcome to write your answer in the chat, although I think I know what you will say. Do you think this is a polite way? Yes, Lena, exactly, not at all. This is very, very direct and also very simple as well. This is not a particularly polite way to refuse a social invitation. So we can definitely improve on this. Exactly, Kamal. This is not very polite, it's true, and could easily cause offense. Here are some phrases we can use to express regret as a way to introduce a rejection to a request, invitation, or offer. For example, I'm sorry, but, or if you want an intensifier, I'm really sorry, but, or I'm very sorry, but, and then you can make the rejection. I can't because, etc. Otherwise, you can use a slightly more conditional, hypothetical, I wish I could, however, or I wish I could, but I'm not available, for example. I'm afraid I can't because, or I'd like to, but, and again with an intensifier. Now we can't use very here, but we could use I'd really like to. And again, I'd, the contraction is short for I would, more hypothetical, because we know we can't accept this invitation or request, but you're expressing regret here. So those are some really useful polite expressions we could start with. Now we're looking at polite, sorry, that should say polite, not politely ways. So polite ways to reject a request. So here we're thinking especially about requests for help, right? So if somebody asks for help, maybe they need you to look after their dog while they're on holiday, for example, but you know you can't commit to this. You can use this type of language. I'd really like to help you, but I'm very busy at the moment, for example. Now, the really useful expressions where you are in bold here. Normally, I could, but I can't right now, for example. Or normally, I'd be able to, but I can't right now. I'd really like to help. Okay, this is really nice because you are showing interest, but you are expressing that there is a problem. For example, I'd love to help, but I have another commitment. Or I'd really like to help, but I need to be elsewhere at that time. And I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid I can't help out. Nice phrasal verb, by the way, help out, right? I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid I can't help out because I need to focus on, and then you might talk about another commitment like your work, for example, or your family. Okay, so that's about rejecting a request for help. Now, often we have to reject requests to help someone, for example, friend or family member, because we are very busy. Now, there are some great other expressions to express busyness, right? And some of them are quite idiomatic, for example, and quite advanced, nice expressions to be able to use. I'm completely swamped at the moment. Okay, to be swamped, meaning really busy. I've got a lot on my plate right now, or too much on my plate right now. And of course, I'm sorry, I don't have the time, or I just don't have the time. Another expression, I'm afraid I'm stretched too thin nowadays. And I'm up to my ears with, and here you might express a commitment, like with your work, or another type of commitment. Now, of course, we've looked at requests, and now we're looking at invitations. So this might be in a more social setting, for example. Maybe someone has invited you for coffee in the afternoon at the weekend, or to come to a dinner party tomorrow. Now, of course, here you want to keep it polite, keep it friendly, but show that you cannot attend. So we have, thank you for thinking of me, but that sounds adjective, right? Positive adjectives. That sounds great or lovely or fun, but I'm afraid I can't, for example. We can show appreciation. I really appreciate the invite. However, or I'm sorry, I can't that time, that day, that evening, because. And in bold, I have a little bit more informal. Okay, so better for close family and friends. I'm sorry, but I'll have to pass this time because, and then you might talk about another commitment. So when you have to pass on something, it means that you cannot accept this time. And particularly with some kind of social invitation, if you're really interested, you might want to suggest an alternative. Okay, you can do that with these types of questions. Maybe we could arrange another time. Now, the more informal, concise, perhaps another time. Would you be able to do another time instead? Okay, so again, slightly more formal and extra polite. And then the really natural, informal, please invite me next time. Okay, perhaps you really wanted to go to that cinema trip, but the time was just not suitable for you. So you might suggest an alternative. And lastly, sometimes you might need or want to reject an offer. I'm thinking particularly in terms of some kind of work offer or work commitment. And again, this might be a slightly more formal situation, so you want to keep things polite. You could say, I appreciate the offer, but thank you for thinking of me. But, so again, we're showing some gratitude here. I'm afraid I don't have time, for example, to do a good job on that right now. Thanks for the offer, but I won't be able to take that on. Okay, so the last two are really specific to work offers, like some kind of project. But these are good for different types of offers as well. Now, this doesn't happen very often, I don't think, fortunately, but there are times when a person can be very insistent, will insist that you say yes to some kind of invitation or request. And here, when someone simply won't accept no, we have to be a bit more direct, okay? But we can still be polite. So for example, with a salesperson who really wants you to buy their product or their service, you could, but you need to refuse. You could say something like I said, I'm sorry, but I can't, or I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Or I'm afraid I won't be changing my mind about this. Okay, so you are showing resolve here. And perhaps the most direct, I'm sorry, but my answer is still no. Okay, so hopefully these aren't expressions you will need to use very much, but it is possible.